Welcome to Season 2 of Answering the Call, the official podcast of the 12th Man Foundation. Our show brings you closer to the heart of Texas A&M athletics through powerful stories of perseverance, purpose, and life-changing opportunities made possible by 12th Man Foundation donors. From student athletes and coaches to former students and dedicated staff, you'll hear firsthand how donor support shapes the lives of Aggie student athletes in competition and beyond. Whether you're a lifelong Aggie or simply curious about what makes Texas A&M so special, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's episode. Howdy, and welcome back to another episode of Answering the Call, the official podcast of the 12th Man Foundation. I'm your host, Ivy Robinson, and joining me in studio today is Texas A&M football student athlete Reuben, Fatheree II, also known as Deuce. Thanks for being here today.
Glad to be here.
Fun icebreaker question for you. What is a unique fact about yourself that not many people know?
I'm a big outdoorsman. Love to be outdoors, mainly fishing, just because it's easier than hunting. The catfish come to you. And then other than that, I do go hunt boar most of the time. Try to go during the night just because it's too hot outside. It's usually 100 degrees and it's hard to walk around because you're usually walking around for miles on end just trying to look for a boar, and they're smart. So again, I try to go during the nighttime, but that's usually a big fact. Not a lot of people know about me.
Yeah. Did you do those activities when you were young, like with your family?
No, ma'am, I didn't. Mainly because I was busy with basketball. I was a big AAU basketball player, go around the country playing and all that. So I never really had that time to go out hunting. Really started when I got here. Picked up a lot when I met Tyler White. We go hunting here and there, especially during the nighttime, and it was real fun. And it's funny because I've been on about 100 hunts, and I've shot at a boar, but never hit one. So, still looking to kill one. Yeah, still looking to kill one. Yeah, one of these days. And then once my dad retires from basketball, we'll definitely pick it up, go deer hunting here and there.
Do you have any maybe fun stories from hunting or something crazy that happened?
I guess the first story is that I didn't have actual work boots. And you want work boots just because when you're in mud, it won't get inside of your shoe.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And instead I had these Nike shoes, just generic walking shoes. And they warned me, they're like, hey, man, it did just rain, so you might want to get some working boots. And I'm like, I think I'll be fine. We shouldn't stay around the dry areas at least. Backfired really bad. We spent most of the time walking in puddles, and my shoe was totally soaked.
Oh, no.
And I was stepping in mud piles, and I was just stuck. The second time is we were out hunting, and they put me in this little shack. They have shacks so, the animals won't see you or anything. And they were out late. I was just stuck in the shack, and I got scared because when it got darker, it was pitch black. Couldn't see anything in front of you. All you could hear was just the cows behind us, and then just any little crack of a branch or anything. And I was scared to death. And little did I know there was a wasp nest above me. And I was scared to death because I was like, man, if I do shoot a boar, am I going to get stung rapidly? And I was like, I'm not allergic or anything, so I'm fine. But
oh, thank goodness.
I don't want to get stung. Luckily, I guess I didn't shoot a boar. I mean, bad and good. I didn't get stung, but still. Either way, it's still fun to go outside. You have your occasional fun story here and there. But I do recommend if you do go hunting during the night, get yourself a thermal. Definitely a safe spot because, it sucks to be stung.
And some good shoes.
Yeah, definitely that too. Some good work boots.
All right, Deuce, let's start at the beginning of your story. Can you tell us where you're from, where you grew up, and where you attended high school?
I grew up in a good-sized town, Richmond, Texas, southwest of Houston. I went to high school at Foster. We were a big powerhouse in football and still are. Did all 4 years there, were pretty good. Played for my dad for basketball, and we were pretty good in that also. And then, grew up there.
Okay, your dad, is he a coach?
Yes, ma'am. He's a coach. He's been coaching since 2014, going on 11 years now.
Wow.
Still coaching hard. Got a little tougher just because they moved to 6A for a little bit and made it to playoffs. Happy for him. But no, I did play for him. We had probably one of the biggest runs we've had at that school. 2017, we went on a 3-round run. Went all the way. We lost to team LBJ High School. Mm-hmm. That's their name. Could have won. It hurt, but still, it felt good just to make school history going that deep into the playoffs. And the following years were pretty good too. Did well, not as well as my freshman year, but still going that deep into the playoffs. Each year, second round was pretty good. It was fun. I do miss it, just basketball. come from a basketball family, so, it's natural for us to play.
Tell me more about that. Tell me about your dad's kind of athletic history, mom, any siblings?
I'll start with my mother. My mother was a 2-time Texas Player of the Year. She was really good, basically 5-star. Went to a school in South Carolina, or I think it was Charlottesville. I'm not too sure. But went over there, got homesick, decided to transfer. She transferred to Mary Baylor. Played there, has a couple records over there. She was pretty good. And then my dad went to D1 school. Came from a small town, actually, from Nixon Smiley, 2A, 3A basketball. Small town, but went to a Division I basketball program down in the Valley in South Texas. Not sure where specifically. Then he transferred to Mary Baylor, met my mom there.
Oh, cool.
Then came my sister. She was a multi-sport athlete. She played every sport. She was basically a 4-star in everything. The athlete of the family. Yeah.
Wow.
She picked basketball. She went to SFA. She did good over there, but transferred and went to St. Edwards over in Austin, the Hilltoppers. She did pretty good over there, has records over there herself too, 3-pointer. She was a big shooter. She was pretty good at it. And again, beyond that, just even before my dad, in my dad's family, you have his brothers and sisters were major basketball players. His brothers were all tall, were pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Big basketball family.
That's awesome. And when did football come onto the scene, if basketball was kind of the family sport?
Throughout my years of high school, I would get kind of wider and wider when I wasn't getting any taller. And so by my senior year, I was already like 290, 300 flat. So I was kind of like, I think my better decision would be in football. And plus, I love football too. It's not like, I'm going against my will or anything.
Right.
I do enjoy basketball a lot too, but I wanted to make the better, decision for myself and my family.
Mm-hmm.
What would help me get my scholarship paid and give me a better chance to play professionally.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell me about when you made that decision and then kind of your recruitment process and when offers started rolling in. Like, tell us about that time of your life.
I'll say this. I made that decision really early. I'd say my freshman year just because I knew okay, I was already 265, 270. It's like, okay, I reached 6'8" when I was in 8th grade. And by that time I was already, let's say 250. And then freshman year, I gained another 15 pounds. I was like, I think I might as well just do football. I can play basketball in high school because, it's fun. I was still chasing basketball and all that. But freshman year, I was like, I'm just going to make the decision and go football. I picked up my first offer when I was in 8th grade from BYU. It was really fun. Then I would say it shot up a lot my sophomore year. I got offered by A&M. That was my second offer. And we've been taking visits prior to that a lot. A&M was like the number one school I visited. Behind that was UT. Then before that was Baylor. And after that, there were a bunch of other schools we visited or we kept in touch with. LSU was another big factor. And really, and then when it came to decision time, it was really between, it was A&M obviously. And then it was LSU and then Baylor and UT. And the reason why A&M stood out the most was just kind of after it's all said and done, when football's done, who's going to take care of me the most? Mm-hmm. Thought about LSU. Coach Ogeron was a cool man. I love the staff there. And I was in it for the staff. Couldn't see myself living in Louisiana. It just wasn't really for me. But I love the staff. And I kind of told myself, man, if I'm in it for the staff, it's kind of bad just because, college football, it's a big world.
Right.
Constantly moving. Mm-hmm. Nothing's the same. Baylor, I loved Baylor. Baylor was, good, quiet town. I just wanted to play for a bigger conference, mm-hmm. SEC, and that was really the main factor. And then UT, I'm more of a quiet country guy. Mm-hmm. I wasn't big into the city, and I just kind of didn't like I didn't mind the environment. I didn't mind being around a city, but it's just not my kind of thing.
Right.
And then so when it came to A&M, quiet town, SEC football, and then more importantly, the Aggie Network.
Right.
Takes care of you after it's all said and done. There's multiple testimonies about it. People talk about it all the time. Even one of the GAs here was talking about it, went on a vacation. A guy walked up to him, had an Aggie ring, and then gave him his business card. It's constantly working, and I really respected that, and I really enjoyed it. And that's why I told myself, you know what? I made that decision too, coming to A&M my junior year. I think I committed my senior year. I'm not too certain. But I told my parents my junior year, I was like, I really want to go to A&M. If I have to come out right now, I'm going to A&M.
Were they excited?
Oh, yeah, definitely. My mom was really happy. She was like, I think that's the best decision you can make. Mm-hmm. And I agree with it too. I'm 100% hands down. I'm not disagreeing at all. Mm-hmm. And my dad was the same way. He enjoyed it. he just, again, remember, he just says it's the SEC, so make sure you go out there and fight, or else you
Yeah.
get laid out real easily. So,
Yeah.
definitely.
So it sounds like you were pretty, it wasn't too difficult of a decision for you. You were...
I'll say this. My mom, she's a big, and both my mom and dad, they're very like traditional and very respectful people. And they have this thing where basically I made a top, I think 12 or 13 list. She says, you're going to call, and she did with my sister too. She said, you're going to call every single coach and you're going to tell them that you're not going to their school and you're going to thank them for what they provided you.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't big on it at first. I was like, do I have to? She was like, yes, you're going to do it. That's how we did it back in our day. And that's what your sister did. And you're going to do it too. And that was the toughest part. I had to call every single one. And the toughest one, I'll just say, was LSU. Because again, I really loved their coaching staff and I really loved them. Called them. It was real sad. I was like, sorry, I love y'all, but I just don't see myself going to LSU. And that was really the only toughest part. I mean, other than that, I made up my mind. It was A&M. And once it was A&M, it was A&M.
What was your first impression when you came to A&M, or maybe like a first visit to a football game as a recruit? What were your first impressions?
It was electrifying. 100,000 people sitting there, screaming, yelling, and it was really cool. I was like, wow, like, this is awesome, I've been to other stadiums, and they've all had, 80,000, but I think A&M had a little bit more kick to it.
Mm-hmm.
When they get loud, they get loud. And, it was pretty, again, I could say it again, just electrifying. And then just coming here for a visit, it was really just nice just to see just kind of like the broadness of A&M. Again, coming in, I didn't really know much about college other than it's just the next level. Like, people come here, sometimes people fail, some people succeed. And just going around, I like just the broadness. Like, they have this degree, they have that degree. If you don't want this, they have this. We have this many tutors to help you. We have everything. They had the resources. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. They had everything for the athletes. And that's what I was just excited about.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wanted to ask you your perspective of just the student-athlete resources here and how it's personally impacted your success and made you an even better student-athlete.
The resources here are great. Again, they push you and they want to make sure you're good, and they get on top of you. So they're somewhat like coaches. Some are, and some are just, they're real about it. Like, hey, you got to get this done or else this will happen. People, when I was younger, they'd said, like, if you fail A&M, it's because you are trying. And I really didn't understand that. I thought like they really meant like you're just, it's hard to describe, but in reality, like now going back and thinking about it, they mean it as just either you're not going to class, you're not studying, you're not doing your thing, you're trying to fail. And so like you really do have to do that. And you really, again, like the resources are here for you. You still have to go out and strive to go grab them and everything. But again, like they're there for you at all times.
Just second to none. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the various degrees here at Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. You recently graduated from Texas A&M. Tell us what you got your degree in.
Agricultural Leadership and Development with a minor in Sports Management. And now I'm in a graduate certificate for Homeland Security.
That is awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Good for you. What have you enjoyed the most about being in the classroom here at Texas A&M?
Meeting new people. Again, it's just, you hang around your teammates all the time, and like those are your family, those are your brothers. And then also it's just meeting new people. Like I enjoy talking to my teammates all the time, but I do also want to meet new people. And that's the cool thing about these classes, that you share similar, interests with people. Again, it's a degree. Going to class, you talk about what you're going to do after this or what's your plan and all that. And that's what I really just enjoy most about classroom. It's just, again, meeting new people. And it, I'm not saying I'm a outgoing guy. Like I'm gonna talk to you outright. I'm shy. I'll sit there. I'll just kind of stare at the board. But when I do talk to other people, we talk well, and then we become friends. All that good stuff.
You mentioned just being able to be around multiple people, meet new people. And speaking of people, I want to ask you about the Aggie football coaching staff specifically and get your perspective on this staff. What makes them unique, special, and how have they helped you really refine your skills?
They really switched it up. I mean, I come from the Jimbo era too, and he was a good coach and that staff was good, but this coaching staff changes it up a lot, which at first, I was scared because I was like, well, I don't know what to expect, but then it definitely changed for the better. They work with you a lot more. And they're really there for you. Like, if you're going through something, like, and you text them, they're there at a minute's notice to, help you out, anything. And, very understanding. And they give you the resources that you need in order to, become a better athlete and a better person. And that is also something I really do enjoy. and is that they definitely do push that when you come to A&M, you're going to become a better person. You're going to get your degree, and then you're going to go to NFL. And that is something I really do enjoy, that this coaching staff has pushed a lot.
I like that. Become a better person. You're going to get that Aggie degree that is just world renowned, and then you're going to go on to the NFL and just
before you go to NFL, win a championship, then go to NFL.
There we go. There we go. Absolutely. We can't forget that. Okay, I'm curious, who on the O-line has challenged you and made you an even better athlete?
I'd say freshman year, there was usually two athletes. It was Kenyon Green. He was a first rounder. He challenged me. And then a guy named Philly, we call him Philly for short. He came from Philadelphia. He was a real cool guy. Encouraged me, when I was down. We had a hand signal. And every time we were down, we all did it, and it would, boost us up and everything. And then sophomore and junior year, we worked out together and everything. It was Layden Robinson. He pushed me to become a better athlete, to really push me to be the best I can be. He did a lot for me. And then senior year now, I'll say it's kind of everyone. We all push each other. We're all older, we're all experienced, we're all old heads, unks, all that. So we definitely push each other. If we're letting up the rope, someone's definitely going to pick it up and put it back in your hands. It's, if one guy falls, we pick him back up and then we stand him strong. And, that's how it is really senior year.
I love that camaraderie and togetherness. What do you think not a lot of people know specifically about the offensive line position? What's a common misconception?
It's really hard to think about it because it really isn't there are misconceptions. I think the number one thing is that I guess we're quiet people. We'll talk our talk. We'll talk crap and all that.
Yeah.
And we'll talk trash and all that. We're not just silent people. But, off the field, we're quiet. We do our thing. Sometimes we just kind of go home and then just just sit there and just not do much.
Kind of like introverts a little bit?
Yeah, we're introverted. And then you might meet some other offensive linemen that are very extroverted. They like to go out, meet people and all that, which is, fine. And it's just really kind of, I really don't like to call it a misconception. It's more just kind of, we're broad.
Yeah.
Some people like to be introverts. Some people like to be extroverts. Some people, are loud. Some people are quiet. But most of the time, we're good people.
Well, see, I feel like to be a good offensive lineman, if you're thinking about character-wise, the person and individual, you've got to be kind of a selfless individual because you're in the trenches, right? You're protecting, and it's over and over.
Number one thing, I think that's what we teach. On freshmen, they have a hard time kind of having that perk and all that. And so once they go through years of just training and all that, then they get to really experience just leading others and somewhat. Because again, we have a lot of offensive linemen have sayings, and it's true. It's just when one person falls, we all fall. So when you got to help that person back up, especially on the offensive line, when you're playing, if someone's down, you have to help them back up. You got to be selfless. You got to put others first, because if not, then you're just going to fall behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Right. Not about you individually,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
The team as a whole. Mm-hmm. Have you specifically experienced any adversity or challenges throughout your college career?
Definitely. It was just first coming here, it was just the adjustment of the speed of just SEC football. Mm-hmm. Again, when I got here, man, we had Marvin Leal, Michael Clements, Tyree, Micah Peavy. Those are some great athletes, and that was NFL D-line right there. And those practices weren't the best, but it helped me a lot because I got to start in the third game, and just going against those guys all the time helped me speed up just to the speed of the SEC football. And then 2 years ago, my junior year, second to last practice before the spring game, I tore my MCL, had to get surgery and all that. And it took me out for a season. And so that was probably the biggest adversity I faced, because it was just sitting there and watching your team and not being able to help them was the biggest gut-wrenching feeling I've ever felt. And just, I pray to God that never happens again. And that was the biggest adversity. And then coming back, going through all the training and everything, you tell yourself man, I think I'm ready. And then you decide to go out there and block, and you just don't have that certain kick to it. You don't have that certain just umph.
Kind of that stamina.
Yeah.
Building that back up, I'm sure was.
Yeah. And it messed you mentally just because you're sitting there man, am I the same? Am I this and that? And in reality, it just takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time.
How did you stay positive, or did you lean on any teammates or coaches? Did they help you get through that?
I prayed a lot. Whenever I do get back, or really throughout this process, just let me get stronger than what I was before. And, just kept in my mind too, just never take things for granted. That was another big thing. As soon as I got back, I was man, I'm never going to take being healthy for granted. Mm-hmm. But no, definitely prayed a lot, relied on my family, just, Like, what can you do? Because another funny thing, it's just my sister, my mom, my dad's the lucky one. He hasn't gotten surgery in his athletic career. Mom broke her femur. Doctors told her she'd never walk again. She ended up walking and then played college ball. And going through that experience, she helps, say like, hey, you're going to go back stronger than what you were. You just got to fight through the pain. You'll be fine. And then my sister tore ACL when she was going into her senior year of college. And never got surgery. She played on it, and still, I think that's when she set another record for 3-point percentage. And again, all those, they sit there and they're like, you'll keep going. Mm-hmm. It just sucks because, in the first part, surgery and all that, it's just the worst part. Just sitting there not being able to do much is a tougher one. But they encourage me the most, like, you'll be back to where you are. You'll be fine. You'll be stronger than what you were. Your leg's going to be way stronger.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff.
It's just proven the saying that the comeback is stronger than the setback, mm-hmm. right? Let's talk really quick about the Adam C. Sent Academic and Wellness Center, which we are sitting in right now. The Bright Slocum Center for Texas A&M Football, which you are very well aware of. Mm-hmm. And then the Coolidge Football Performance Center. All of these facilities are within the Graham Athletic Complex. But let's start with the Adam C. Sent Academic and Wellness Center. What is your favorite part about this building?
The cafeteria, you get to eat there for free. I mean, every day is pretty good. They got everything. Steak, ribs, and the healthy stuff too, like a good Caesar salad. I don't know why that's my thing now. I love Caesar salads.
I love a good Caesar salad too. So
yeah.
Good.
But I think the main perk is that everything's so close together. Because I want to say for about it feels like 2 years, we had to walk all the way to the All-American Club because this was under construction.
Right.
This was all under construction. And that sucked because you had to walk all the way down the corridor and go up the elevator, and it took time. But now since everything's close, it's like a 5-minute walk from here and there. Say if I take a nap and I'm late for check-ins, I can just sprint over and I'll make it in no time. And again, that's usually just the main thing I love. It's just everything's so close together. Mm-hmm. Like you can basically just like live here and you'll be fine. Yeah. You got everything you need. Definitely, again, my favorite part is the cafeteria. Just again, like the broadness of like the food variety and all that, and just the freshness.
What was it like walking into the Coolidge indoor facility for the very first time?
Really awesome. I mean, it makes you feel really old thinking about it, but I remember when we had the 2 bubbles, and one was for football, one was for track, and how they turned all of it into just straight football and made it a huge indoor was incredible. It does help a lot, especially when, during this upcoming fall camp, when it's 110 degrees outside, it feels great when the air conditioning is blowing and you're indoor. Just do some hitting drills and all that. It's definitely a great perk. That's what I just love about it, though.
Yeah.
And just kind of just also like where people are able to watch too. If you have family come over, they can watch from up top and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's real cool. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
You talked about just all these facilities being very close together now, and it's helped with just the efficiency of things. How have you seen these facilities revolutionize kind of the Aggie football program since you have been here for a while and you've utilized different facilities? But how have you seen like the evolution of those facilities really impact the effectiveness of the program?
I'd say for one, it gives people a lot of room. I think that detail is kind of big just because, some days it'll be storming real bad. And when I was here my freshman year, I think they got rid of the bubble going into my sophomore year, I think. But freshman year, when there was a storm outside, it was lightning and thundering. We would work indoors, but we'd always be cramped together. Like there wasn't really much room. And we had to be careful because people would run into each other all the time. And just the evolution of just the new indoor being built. Like if we all go indoor, we all have a bunch of room. You can do 7-on-7 while the offensive linemen work on the end zone. And it's real nice. And that's where I think the biggest detail is in. And again, just the biggest evolution is just the cafeteria. The cafeteria, when I was a freshman, you just walk upstairs. It wasn't bad. But I think also the biggest detail too is that since it's on, I guess you can say like the first level or the ground floor, we don't have to walk upstairs. And I think that detail is also important too, just because, you just got done with the workout, you got done squatting, and then now you got to go climb stairs in order to go get food. That's just tiring. And now that since it's on the ground floor and it's only like a 4 or 5 minute walk, maybe even less than that,
right?
You're not as tired and you can just, relax while walking over. But I think that's also, again, like the indoor, that's the biggest like detail I've seen. I think that's what I'm really glad to have seen in just like the evolution of just all this construction.
At the 12th Man Foundation, our mission is funding scholarships, programs, and facilities in support of championship athletics. And many of our listeners on this show are the very donor supporters, season ticket holders, whose contributions and donations impact these resources and facilities. What would be your message of gratitude to them?
Oh, thank you so much. Again, I am an example of just like the support they've given us. I'm graduated from A&M. I cannot thank them enough, especially Mr. and Mrs. Meyer. They provided a lot of resources for me. And, I can't thank them enough. And everyone else too, obviously. Again, just to add another story, all my family have transferred, which, kudos to them. It helped them a lot. They got to play. They had a great time. It wasn't bad. But I told myself, like whichever school I want to go to, I want to stay, I want to fight. And, with their fundings for scholarships and just other resources they've given us, all of us and me, I was able to do that. I was able to stay here all 5 years. I haven't transferred or anything. I think that's just a big, achievement for me. Without their support, I don't think I would really be here. And so I can't thank them enough for everything, all the donors and everyone have done. And personally, just thank you all for everything.
Man, I think that's just awesome. Especially in this day and age of college athletics, people can transfer left and right. And so I think it's awesome with your story. Like you've had that loyalty to Texas A&M and you've been grounded and rooted here and really dedicated to this program. And it's just, the hard work has paid off, right?
Yes, ma'am. And with the funding they also give too, it's also, and I talked about it earlier with some guys too, it's just with like the funding they give and they provide us these such like really nice facilities. Some of these recruits, they come from already really nice like high school programs, like, it's crazy. They got indoors for high schoolers and everything. And now that they see like, that we have a bigger indoor cafeteria that's huge and provides all this food, they want to come to A&M. They want to become athletes at A&M. I think that's the biggest thing, like their funding has done for us. It's just also like bring in a bunch of athletes too. And again, and the next generation will continue to thank them for everything they've done and all that good stuff. So, I think that's like a hidden detail not a lot of people realize that the donors do for us. It's just provide for the next generation too coming in and inspire them to come become an Aggie.
Really glad you shared that because it's very true. Facilities do matter and they inspire and they're a critical component to the recruitment process. So like Deuce said, like we thank all the 12 Man Foundation donors and season ticket holders so much for what they do and investing back into Texas A&M athletics because it's helping provide an elite environment where student athletes can come here and like you said earlier, get that degree, compete and earn championships and then go on to their futures and to their future careers. So, okay, I'm going to stay on that note really quick about support and just this ever-changing landscape of college athletics. In the era of NIL, how have you personally been impacted by name, image, and likeness, and how have you seen it impact your teammates?
Positive, definitely positive. I've seen it help out a lot of our teammates just because, we all come from different backgrounds. I don't know everyone's background, but just I'll say for me personally, it's helped my family and I financially. And so that's the biggest thing, like NIL's helped me for. And again, that's why I always say thank you a lot for like the donors for providing for us and everything. It's just because, people think like, oh man, like they're just going to get cars, they're going to get, whatever they want, jewelry and all that. But in reality, provides for our families and provided a lot for mine. I can help them out whenever they need it. And I'm happy to do so. And again, that's just, it's been a positive effect.
That's awesome. Looking forward to wrap up today, Deuce. Tell me, what are you most excited about with this upcoming football season?
I'll say for one, it's my last season. So I'm looking to go out there, ball out, and do whatever I can and make A&M a champion for this upcoming season and just work with my teammates and, make history. This year we want to be in the SEC championship, and I think that's the biggest goal for this year. It's just, we're all a bunch of old heads. Let's make something that A&M has never done before.
Let's do it. Absolutely. And is there a specific game you're looking forward to?
Every single game, really. They're all good. At the end of the day, it's really every game.
And really quick, what can you tell us about some of these new transfers that have joined the program?
Like the ones that just joined like this summer, it's going to take time for them to adjust. But otherwise, they're ready. They're ready to work. They're ready to make an impact here at A&M. So that's the great thing about it.
And to wrap up today, what are your future goals beyond your time at Texas A&M and why are you proud to be an Aggie?
Work in criminal justice. I'm going to work for one of the government agencies, FBI, ATF, CIA, one of those big government agencies. And that also runs in my family other than just basketball. It's just my brother-in-law just became a cop. My cousin, he's going to become a state trooper. He's going to the academy. He's graduating from A&M this fall.
Oh, awesome.
And he's going to go into the academy, become a state trooper. And then again, I got uncles, cousins that were sheriffs, police officers, you name it. I'm proud to keep the tradition strong, become an Aggie, wear my Aggie ring around. and continue, providing for other Aggies too, helping them out. We're a family, and they're going to help me out too when I'm in need of a job or anything, and to keep pushing, again, trying to push my little cousin to become one and my niece too. Yeah, but no, that's definitely like the one thing I'm proud to be an Aggie is just to continue the tradition and just join the family. And that's my biggest thing.
Reuben Deuce, Fatheree II on Answering the Call podcast. Thank you so much for your time today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Answering the Call. If you're enjoying the show, please rate and follow us on your podcast streaming platform of choice so you can be the first to know when a new episode drops. As always, a big thank you to our incredible podcast producer, Megan Rohde, to 12 Man Productions, and Texas A&M Athletics NIL Department. We also extend our heartfelt gratitude to every donor and season ticket holder for always answering the call through loyal support of Texas A&M Athletics and our student athletes. We will be back soon with more content. Thanks, and gig 'em.